Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. For today's show, we have a very, very special guest because this is someone that I've been really trying to get on the show for quite some time, and it's finally happening. Of course, you guys who are joining me know that I'm talking about Maria Gigante. She is currently representing Cebu during Miss World Philippines 2022. And of course, we have a lot of things that we want to discuss. But most importantly, I want you to get to know her on a personal level and also what she's able to do as a beauty queen and as a human being, of course, because we know that Miss World demands a lot of soul. So during this conversation, we're going to touch about her pageant experience. We're going to talk about the current pageant that she is in and her expectations going forward. So if you're into that, please just make sure that you stay with us until the end. Don't forget to like this video, share it, subscribe, and comment so that you can support the channel and you can also spread Maria's message. And I won't keep you waiting for much longer. I will see you with Maria right after the intro. Hello, guapa.
Hi, hello, guapo.
Ah. How
Good
are you doing,
morning.
Maria? So happy to have you here finally.
Thank you, Luis. I'm so happy to be here. I am a fan of your show, and I can't believe you
Oh,
asked me to come on it. I'm
oh, I'm
sorry
so
I'm late.
kidding.
Thank you, everyone, for waiting. I promise it's worth the wait.
Of course, absolutely. We're here for you, and we're so excited to get to talk to you as well.
Me too.
So first of all, before we get into the interview and any questions, I just want to ask you, how are you doing? How's everything? How's your mind right now in this particular moment of the competition?
Well, I have to say, it's been a very challenging run. We started during the screening last month, and ever since, we've just been going at it straight every day. And we have a different challenge every day. Like you
Yes.
said, this world demands a lot of soul. And true enough, we've been tasked with going on a completely different adventure almost every day. One that's brought us to
Yes.
Boracay, to Tagaytay, and soon to Lipa City. So there's really no rest for us here. But what's really getting me through is the friendship that I have with my fellow candidates. In fact, I was just with them during our press conference for the launch of Non Fungible Beauty, which is Miss World's
Yes.
collaboration. Yeah, with Dual Technologies. And we're launching an NFT. Actually, two,
Wow.
one for
Oh,
mental health, one for education. And that's a very interesting take on NFTs because I know other pageants have been exploring that, but I think Miss World is
yes.
the only one that's really doing it on creative material that we produce personally. So I'm
Absolutely.
interested to see where that goes. But right now, honestly, I literally just took off my sash, like I told you. I just ran into the house, and I'm so sorry because I know I said I was like, okay, tomorrow's actually Santa Cruz, and I'm trying to squeeze all of this in because even though I'm so busy right now, I can't like I have to make time for this pageant community. That's what we're building here, right? And this is all what it's about. Besides beauty with a purpose, we're here because we're into pageants and we want to build a space that's more open and honest and positive,
Yes.
and we want to use our beauty for a purpose. Hi, I'm back.
She's a comeback queen.
Yeah, that's me. Come back, queen.
I love it. Perfect. So I was just saying that I think it's really genius the fact that Miss World Philippines is going with the NFT. It's a very new concept, and I feel
Right.
like it's the way to go, the future of pageantry as well, and
Not
to
just
have these
pageantry, but
collaborations.
currency. Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be incredible. Now, let me ask you, of course, because coming back, I imagine that this must be overwhelming, but also, how do you feel with people's reaction? Because there is so much hype around you, Maria.
Really? Is there?
Yes. Oh my God, girl. It's
Honestly, I'm just
everywhere.
fun. Like, I think the people who are supporting me this time around are the same people who have, they're not just pageant supporters. They've followed my life since being Pilipinas and have literally gone through every stage of life with me. And I was such a different person back then. I'm not the Maria that you know now. Like before,
Yeah.
I wasn't a host. I was just a student wanting to make a difference in the world. And now I'm happy to have gotten at least a head start. But yeah, I'm not really, I don't know. I try to think that we're chill because I think me and my gigantics are very chill and very open, but we're also very competitive.
Mm-hmm. And it shows, as you should, as you should.
Yeah, right. But I don't really know about the hype Louise. So make me awkward.
Yes, of course. Now let's talk a little bit about your pageantry journey. So, first of all, before you even joined the pageant, you were already part of a modeling competition, if I'm not mistaken, around the age of 16, right?
Modeling. I was modeling already. I
Okay,
don't
modeling.
recall any competitions, but I'm an
Okay.
old lady, so I might have
Oh, okay.
forgotten.
All right. So, around that time, was it like someone from your family who encouraged you to join like modeling or anything like, or was it like an interest that you always had in you?
So I never had the interest.
Okay.
Never. As in I was to paint a very good picture, I was
Mm.
a soccer player since I was 8 years old. Like
Yes.
as in like football. So like and then I was in every single quiz bowl. Like
Oh,
literally,
really?
my goal in the school year was to win every single quiz bowl, like science, math, and social studies, everything. I was very much into books. I was very much into studying. Although I spent a lot of time, up and down Cebu because my mom is from Argao, my dad is from Bantayan, so it's really the best of the north and the south. I
Mhm.
spent a lot of time in nature, but I didn't have a lot of time with my friends. So I was definitely not the popular kid. I was definitely not, the pretty girl in school. I think I wanted to be the smart girl. And
Ah,
I don't know if I really achieved that, but,
of course you did.
really get the idea of pageants until I got taller.
Yes.
And sometime around puberty, I lost the weight. And then, in Cebu, pageants are very big.
Yeah.
Every year, everyone gathers to watch Miss Cebu. And I used to do that all the time with my family. I never imagined that I would be one of them. Honestly, I memorized every single one of them. I like to memorize things. So I would see my titas and my titos, is it the same word like aunties and uncles? And so during the pageant, and just as soon as I got taller, they would say like, "Hey, have you ever thought of joining Miss Cebu?" And I'd be like, "Me? No." Like me? No. Like I was wearing cargo pants, t-shirt, everything. I was so boyish. And
Yes.
then my dad had said, "Hey, if you wanna, do you wanna? Have you ever thought of joining pageants? Like just one." And then I told him, "Okay, I'm gonna join, but if I'm gonna join one, at least like I'll do a big one. So like let's do Binibining Pilipinas, for example."
Hmm.
But then they were like, "Oh, if you wanna join, then you can't do that for your first time around." It wasn't until I met the late Mommy Jonas Vorses, who was from Cagandahang Flores at the time, but this was before she was even affiliated with any camp. She's
Hmm.
actually my real life relative. And
Oh,
I grew up going to her salon. My mom always had her hair done in her salon until eventually she offered to train me for Binibini Pilipinas under the condition that I would join, several pageants just to get into that whole pageant mindset
of
and the way to
course.
compete. And so I was like, I'll take up the challenge. Like, I'll do it one day at a time. So I attended training one day at a time. At the time, Gazini was also new, and we would go to trainings. Sometimes we would miss each other. We weren't very close yet, but this was around the time that Gazini and Jamie Harrell
Yes.
started training as well in the same camp that I was training in. And the experience was really something of note. I remember I was sent to Rina Nangaliwan with Steffi Averasturi
Yes.
shortly after I joined Miss Cebu also. And it was such a fun experience. Like, I had the best time. This is where I learned that I really wanted to speak about Filipino culture. Because Reina Nangaliwan is known here in the Philippines as the Festival of Champions, right? Where you showcase everyone's culture through the festivals that they have. And you get to be the ambassador for that. And
Mhm.
being from a festival island of Cebu, I take so much pride in Sinulog And I think that it reflects our identity so well as a country, as an island that had to embrace Christianity in our own way with our own tribal practices. And that's why I prize it so much, because it's such a show of our identity and I'm so proud of it. And that was my entry into pageants. And I felt like I was first noticed there. And I didn't really know after that. I ended up second runner up there, right? But I didn't really know if I wanted to continue or if I wanted to join Binibining Pilipinas. And then they just kept encouraging and encouraging me. So it was really Mommy Jonas Borses that brought me to Binibini. And then she gave me the idea of like aspiring for higher pageants or like a national crown, even. And put the idea of, being Miss Universe or Miss World or Miss Earth into my head. And lo and behold, the sisters that I once trained with now own their own crowns. Jamie became Miss Earth and Gazini became Miss Universe Philippines. Everyone achieved their dreams. Yeah, and then now I'm pursuing mine.
And now it's your time to achieve yours, of course.
Oh,
Yes. When I was preparing for this interview, Maria, well, I
yeah.
was working, I was collaborating with my friend Salvatore, and we were really trying to come up with an interview that will represent you well. And we had this feeling of like this girl has like a legacy in pageantry, like this girl has a name in pageantry. So it cannot be like a any sort of like, a light interview, whatever. Like there's a lot of soul, of course. And I think that we really wanted that to show through. Because you've been in different scenarios that you come from a very strong background. You've competed with girls that have consolidated themselves in pageantry. So and you are all of that as well. We believe in you.
You.
Of
Thank you.
course.
You're so flattering. Yes, this is so sweet.
Yes, of course, of course. And I also, while we're at it, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to your dad, Sir Lindo Gigante, who is with us in the chat. He was
Does
chatting
that
with
name prove
everyone. Huh? Yes. It's the Cuban roots here that give me the accent. There we go. We got this. We got this. This is,
we
easy
got
breezy.
this? We got
Yeah, so
this.
I was saying, so shout out to your dad because without him and his support and him pushing you to join the pageants, we wouldn't have you today. So
Right, right, right. Of course, I also have my mom who's very supportive now. It took her a
of
while
course,
to warm up to pageants, but now she's very about it. She
of
loves
course,
it.
it's a family
Um,
thing now.
yeah, it's a family thing.
So let me ask you. Of course, you had this experience during Binibini Pilipinas. Of course, um, what do you think is one of the lessons that you took that away from that experience, going forward in your pageant career?
I think when we talk about the places that we're meant to be or the things that we want, sometimes we're not mature enough to read the signs that the
Yes.
world is trying to send us. And perhaps when I joined Binibining Pilipinas, I failed to see why it wasn't for me.
Mm.
Instead of, I was so insistent that I wanted one particular crown. I wasn't open to, like asking the universe, like, what should I have? Like, where is it that I'm meant to be? And honestly, now that I'm in Miss World Philippines, I don't know why I waited so long. Like, I don't know why I waited so long. Why I didn't bother joining earlier, because I really feel like I can put my best foot forward here, and I feel so understood. I feel like my skills are put to good use and challenged, and I always see myself as a communicator. Like
Yes.
from my job as a host, I'm a philosophy student. I'm a debater. And I feel like these are the ways in which I can best champion certain causes. I've been volunteering for Gawad Kalinga for 10 years. And that's something that I never really got to shed light on in the past, because perhaps because it was a different platform with different requirements. But
Mhm.
right now in Miss World Philippines, I I really don't know why I didn't come here earlier. Like I don't
Yes.
know, it makes so much sense to me. I know it doesn't to a lot of people, but it feels right.
Exactly. And I mean, I've been following the pageant this year very closely. Last year, like I was following it a little bit, but this year I told myself I will really go in with Miss World Philippines and follow all of the activities. And it's been so
Yeah.
much fun, so interactive. It's been, I mean, a learning experience, even for myself as a fan. So I think you're in the right place as well.
There's something happening every day. I can't
Every
even
day.
catch up. Yeah, Yeah, by the time I get the photos, we're already like three activities ahead, and I'm just like, oh, what am I gonna do now?
I know, right? So, Maria, I'm gonna ask you. So, I'm a very visual person, okay? So, I'm gonna show you a
Okay,
photo, and let's talk about growth.
okay,
All right?
okay.
Okay. So, I want you to take a look at this photo of you back in the days of Bini Bini
Oh
Pilipinas,
my
2016,
gosh.
and now in 2022, Miss World Philippines. How have you grown as a woman? How have you evolved? How have you changed? Please tell us about it.
I can't believe that's me. First of
Time flies,
all,
right?
as you can clearly see, I've discovered blending. Okay, so on a more real note, though, this photo from Miss World Philippines is by the amazing Yuki, the photographer, but the makeup is by Jim Ryan Ross, and my hair here is
Yes.
by Dave Grona. In
Yes.
Binibining Pilipinas, I did all of that myself, and I had never
Wow.
done my own makeup before. That girl was terrified of a brush. Now, I would much rather do my own makeup. I'm a completely different person. I think I've stepped into my femininity more. I'm more comfortable with the fact that my brand of femininity is something that is bold and strong while at the same time unapologetic about being feminine. And I'm just learning to discover things. Before I thought, okay, if you're feminine, it means that you can't be loud, or I have to make my voice higher, or I have to act in a way that's, not like my opinions have to challenge the status quo less.
Mhm.
But then I found myself in a place that was not very comfortable because I think I am a person who thinks critically. I think I am, It's my discipline. I study philosophy. And yeah, I think now I'm more comfortable with who I am. Surprisingly, we didn't change so much on the color palette. I'm still wearing blue. A sign, perhaps? Is that a sign?
That's something that I noticed. I was putting like the photos next to one another. I was like, blue is hmm,
Right?
it's a
I
thing.
didn't even know. That dress in Binibining Pilipinas, I just borrowed that from one of my sisters. And the
Yeah.
one today, I just borrowed it from another sister too. Like,
Oh.
I don't usually wear blue though, so
Well, soon you might be
coincidence.
wearing something blue, so
Yeah, but today it's green. Yesterday I wore
yes.
blue. Too much blue.
Now, let me ask you, as you said, it took you a while to come back in the pageant scene. So, what
Right.
is it that took you so long? Like, were you preparing mentally? Like, what was it that kept you away from pageants for what? Almost 6 years.
6 years, that's right. It
Mhm.
was it was I think the fact that, I've been preparing. I've come to a point I started very early and I've come to a point where me and my normal lifestyle is almost like a preparation for a pageant because the entire time after Binibining Pilipinas, I was always preparing to join another pageant, but I just didn't want to join until I wholeheartedly and fully knew that that is what I wanted, and that everything was clear and that everything was orderly and that I could join in the way that I wanted. I wanted to build a wardrobe. I wanted to figure out my style, my voice, what I wanted to say,
Mhm.
because Binibini Pilipinas made me realize that I represented so much more than just myself. Like I was part of something so much bigger than just myself. And when I came home to Cebu, I was just sad. I was so reluctant to go home. I was so sad because I'd failed at something. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist because I'm a Virgo. And when I came home, people would come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, like you didn't get in. Like we wanted you to get in because you represented Cebu." And through the years, hearing that just kind of like it just tugged at my heartstrings because you know what, I do represent Cebu. There are so many things that I'm so proud of, and I'm privileged to have traveled the world because of my dad's job as a pilot and really tell them, what Cebu and the Philippines is all about, and really just learn about their culture as well. And yeah, it hit me. I was like, I didn't do such a good job of representing my people because I was just thinking of myself. But this time around, the reason why I really crossed the Rubicon and joined Miss World was because I've been working on this advocacy, this project, a long time ago with Binibining Cebu when I was a queen there. That is a livelihood project. It's a collaboration between Gawad Kalinga and the Fashion Institute of Design and Arts. It's skills training, pattern making, sewing, cutting hair, making lace, all these skills that would allow a local community to thrive in an island whose the economy depends on tourism so much, like Bantayan Island. We were thinking of creating a social enterprise at this point, but I have not been in the pageant scene, right? And I thought perhaps something like this would be the best thing to catapult a social enterprise like that. And although yesterday we had our Beauty with a Purpose presentation and I wasn't able to get into the top 10, um, it doesn't really change anything. Of course, I feel something about it because it's very important to me. It's almost one of the most important things in my life right now. But I just want to make the women and children in GK Tikad and Bantayan Island feel like they are seen and that they are heard and that they are represented. And I want that Miss World, having heard this project, might be able to help me multiply it throughout the Philippines. In the
Of
long
course.
term, I really see them upcycling, repurposing flour sacks, burlap, and turning it into some items we can use in the household or maybe even fashionable items because currently we've converted several households to using sustainable material when they go grocery shopping and all these things. And I feel like now I've figured out I've had a head start on what the mark that I want to leave in the world.
I think it's working
Hi!
now.
Finally!
Finally. Oh my God.
You've got a glimpse into my bat cave. That's my electric fan.
We did it. You're such a good sport. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you for being such a good sport. Thank you, Salvatore, for being such a good sport. And everyone
Yeah.
in the chat room now, thanks for scooting on over to Instagram. I know it's like a switch of platforms, but thank you.
Of course. So once again, thank you everyone for coming back with us and staying with us. We're gonna make this fun, and of course, we have some
Hi,
surprises for for Maria. So Maria, we were talking about coming back to Miss World Philippines, of course, and something that I wanted to mention is, because as I mentioned earlier on YouTube, because you have a legacy, right? Because you have created a name for yourself already. Coming back must have, a certain amount of pressure because of people's expectations and thinking that, um, automatically you will go and get a crown, but they don't know like all of the pressure behind the scenes. So how do you deal with that? How do you cope with all of the expectation and public attention that comes to you?
Right. I just try my best to stay in the present. The more I work on my career, the more I experience pressure on a daily basis. But then again, pressure makes diamonds. And I thought it would be incredibly coincidental that the time I chose to join Miss World Philippines happens to be the time when another Cebuana also has the crown. So there's not only the pressure of delivering a performance worthy of being crowned, but of actually getting a back to back, which is not a very common sight to see, right? So
Absolutely.
if it's gonna be my last year in pageants, I figure go big or go home.
Exactly. I think that, you really need to put everything out there and give it your full potential because at the end of the day, that's exactly what people are expecting from you.
Right. We're
Whenever,
talking about growth, right? Like
yes,
growth happens when things are most uncomfortable.
absolutely.
That's where growth comes from. And I hope that's what we're doing now. You
Of
know?
course. I wanted to mention, in terms of performance, I always think of the beach beauty competition. You girls really had to push through that with the rain and the weather, and it was just like hectic. But you were awesome. Like you did such a
Thank
good
you.
performance. How did you feel during that
Thank
moment?
you. Honestly, we didn't know it was gonna rain. We didn't know. Like we spent so long preparing for, the Miss World organization has been preparing us as well for the competitions that we were going to have. And us as candidates, me particularly, I spent my time researching and studying on which fast tracks I should get, not just the ones that I want in my heart, but also the ones that I should probably try for.
Yes,
Just because you want to do your best in every aspect of the competition, right? And you want to show Miss World, the organization, that you're completely capable and up to the task of really taking up anything they give you. And with the Miss with the beach beauty competition. I was so excited because it was in front of the beach. You know, this is my natural habitat. I'm an island girl. Um, it's just supposed to be fun. And the day came and it was so hot. And I thought, great, we have photos. And everything was going so well. Like I was like thinking, you know, normally it's like it is still challenging, but I'm so blessed that I happen to have a great location. Like my location looked like it was made for my outfit that day. Like the yellow, the mustard resort wear that was made for me by Edward Castro. It looked like it was made for that spot, and I was just thinking, I can't wait to go down the runway with this, but it was so long. So when it started to rain, I stood around and I was like, oh my goodness, this fabric is gonna, everything is gonna look transparent. My hair will not hold place. I was just like, are they gonna move it to tomorrow? Because I really wanted to get this like to get this done today. My makeup was on fleek that day. And then Sir Ryan that I love so much, our event head,
Yes.
he goes, it's actually the vice president, I think, or but he's one of the heads we have in this world, our boss. He calls the shots and he goes, ladies, it's raining. Are we still gonna do this? And then we just go, of course we're gonna do this, Ryan, of course. And he goes, take off your heels. Let's go. And I was just like, take off my heels, put my designer's creation like in the rain. And it was made just for that competition. Like I literally went to cargo right before the flight to Boracay, grabbed the outfit and ran to my check-in counter.
Oh my
It's like just in the nick of time. So I had already been through a lot getting there. And then the rain comes. And I thought, you know what? It's raining for a reason. And it would be such a shame to go through what will probably be a once in a lifetime experience
Yes.
and not just go all out, you know? And I was just like thinking, let's do this. You know, and my dress might be too long, but it's okay. There's a swimsuit portion, you know? And we didn't know that we were going to have a swimsuit segment.
Mhm.
I was just lucky enough that I had just come from Bantayan to fill my BWAP, and my Tita Jelly A, shout out to Tita Jelly, she sent me some bikinis, like a lot of bikinis that were in my size, and they were still in my suitcase. So I was like, oh wow, perfect. Took the bikinis, threw them on, and I was literally just like,
And
it's
let's
raining.
hope.
What am I gonna do? Yeah, my hair was like this. I was like, am I gonna keep it like this, or am I gonna make it wet look? Because I always have a wet look, right? And I
Yeah.
was trying to be a different person.
Yes. You looked
And then the
amazing.
rain is
Amazing.
just pouring outside, and I was just like, you know what? Forget about it. Let's just do it. It's already raining. And I go over to the side of the tent and I put my hair like in the rain. And I'm just like taking the brush and combing it. And I'm like, I cannot do the performance that I planned today, but I'm just going to go out there and trust what I know. And I got there and everything just happened. I was just trying to have fun and people in the audience were cheering for me. My voiceover was amazing. And I thought, you know, how often do we have a beach beauty competition in one of the most breathtaking spots in the Philippines?
Yes.
And it says right there on my intro, you know, I'm an island girl. This is my element. I need to own it. And that I did, I think. And I
You
freaking,
did that.
it was the most amazing experience.
I
I
just
don't even know
remember.
what the performance. Yeah?
Yeah, I just remember that day I woke up because being in Montreal, like I'm 12 hours behind the Philippines time. And I just woke up, I opened my phone, and the first thing that comes up, it's a video of the girls walking in the rain. And I was just
What
like,
did you think?
this is epic. Listen, I thought at first that was a stunt, like they actually wanted rain, and I was like, this is epic, because it just makes sense. Like the girls are working, like are walking on nature, like at the beach, and like you get the rain and the drama, and it's just like so much fun. But
Right.
yes, props to all of the girls, of course, for pushing through the challenge, and to the organization as well, because they still gave us like an epic competition.
It was epic. And you know what? I'm so happy to be working with them. Like, they're such good vibes and we vibe so much. Like, I've been working in events and entertainment for 10 years. And I know that it takes a good crew to pull off a good show, no matter the hitches. And everyone was so willing to make the show happen. So when they were just like, let's do it in the rain, I was just like, yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it in the rain.
Now let's talk about one of the very important challenges of the competition, and that's the head-to-head challenge, of course. You made it to the top
Yeah,
two, so congratulations to you. You're
thank
amazing.
you so much. Thank you.
How challenging was that? Because just being put on the spot with questions and different subjects must be like nerve-wracking.
I think, it was, I'm no stranger to the stage,
Yeah.
having worked as a host and having been in the debate team before. But what makes this different is because in a beauty pageant, you're presented with the challenge of making your ideas digestible to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And really like being able to put things simply, but also being able to communicate the loftiest ideas
Mhm.
to a child or, just anyone who's watching. And then that was really the challenge this time. And I was deathly afraid, because my co-candidates are very articulate. And I know this well because I listen to them. I listen when they talk. And I think, you know what, she makes sense. I think the other one, she's so articulate. And I really am able to appreciate them during our training sessions and whatnot. And it was just like by the time the question got to me, I thought, okay, like, what's it going to be about? There were so many questions surrounding it, and the anxiety came from not knowing the format. So this entire time, I was preparing for a debate style competition where it was like they would give a topic and then a position, and then I would have to argue and then do a rebuttal. And I was just so grateful that it ended up being more of like a personal opinion thing.
Yes.
One of my co-candidates even joked in one of the rounds that I was asked if the Philippines should switch to federalism, right? And then she goes, that question is made for you. And I was like, why? And she was like, because when they said federalism, I immediately thought Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I know, right? And then the next question and just the next, it was just an endless stream of questions that you never thought you'd be thrown in the pageant. But
Yeah.
guess what? Like, I've heard these questions before. I've heard them from my debate coaches. I've heard them from the news. And when you hear these things, you form little opinions, and those things really help me form a whole opinion on the Miss World stage. But at the same time, the questions that I didn't expect helped me discover things about myself. And of course, it was nerve wracking, but I also trusted in the fact that I have been waiting for a moment like this to
Yes.
speak in behalf of communities that I represent, to open up meaningful conversations, and I was not going to waste it because I don't have a second chance. And I think I like to think that I did well.
You did. You did incredibly well. You did amazing, actually. So you should be extremely proud of yourself. Let me ask you, because as I said, like being put on the spot, it must be nerve-wracking, not only for this particular challenge, but also for all of the activities that are happening simultaneously for Miss World Philippines. So when you think of it, how do you focus? How do you center yourself before an event like this, just to be sure that you're able to deliver your 100% each time?
I think the secret is really just emptying your mind.
Yeah.
I used to be afraid of public speaking, and even in my job as a host, I try to put in my head that, like I mentioned before, I'm a perfectionist, so I rehearse everything. As soon as I know I'm supposed to do something on a particular date, starting now until then, I'm gonna run it through in my head again and again whenever I have the free time, and just say, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. And with things like this where you don't really know what's gonna be thrown at you,
Mhm.
I couldn't help but think, okay, I have prepared as much as I could, and now it's time for me to empty my mind. Because when your mind gets stuck on something so much, you end up praying for it and it finds its way into your answer even when it doesn't belong there. So
Yeah.
it might be the perfect answer for the wrong question. And I just was like, no, Maria, you're going to empty your mind. And we were looking at each other, me and my besties, we call ourselves the titas, Sam and Justine. I was looking at them, they're looking at me. And we're no stranger to the pageant world. And everyone's reviewing and we're just looking at each other. And I was like, I've been there. That has never worked for me. I'm just gonna empty my mind because I cannot afford to to mess something up or to do anything less than justice to any question that's asked of me. And emptying my mind has just been like the most clear and calm experience. It's like when you're meditating, and like I do this every day. I meditate and I just try to like center myself, and every day something will always come up. Like something I should have thought of before that got drowned in all the things I need to do.
Yes.
Some realization or like just remembering that I love what I do. That always happens because the brain is like a supercomputer. It's an amazing thing. And it'll do what you need it to if you just trust it. So
That's
yeah,
true.
empty. Have you ever
Well,
thought of that, Louis?
I think I'm gonna
Do
have
you
to
do
start taking notes from you because, girl, the level of performance that you're giving us, I don't know. I just want to excel in life like that at some point. You're
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank
Of
you.
course. And also, I wanted to give props to your team, to the creative people behind you, the creators supporting you as well, the designers, the photographers, makeup artists, hairstylists. Everyone is doing such an incredible job. We actually had a
No.
surprise video for you from one of your mentors. So,
No.
yes, unfortunately, we're not able to share it here on Instagram, but I will do a montage. So for this live stream, I'll put it with the previous segment that we had and I'll post that on YouTube. Hey girl, just taking a break from class, but I just want to wish you good luck. I know you're going to do great, and we'll see you soon with the blue crown on your head. So, I wanted to ask you, how important has been the guidance of your mentors all throughout your pageant journey, of course, up until now?
Well, my mentors have been very important, especially because it's been a while since I entered the pageant world, and it's safe to say that the second I re-entered it, I noticed immediately that it was completely different than it was before.
Yeah.
Before, we were so competitive. There was less of our personalities at the forefront. We weren't always given the attention to speak and the platform to speak. We didn't take our advocacies as seriously as we do now.
Yes.
And it's a different world, but it's like a better one. Everything changed for the better. And my mentors really prepared me for that. My mentor, um, Kali Huff from Q&A, and Sir People, of course, from Q&A, and all my mentors from Aces and Queens. They've helped me so much in learning how to put my best foot forward at this particular time.
Yeah.
You know, there are things before that I had to stay away from that I don't stay away from now. Like being straightforward, talking about issues that matter, talking about like things that I really want to do. And I think you can see it when I when I talk about them that I've been waiting so long to just,
Yeah.
address issues that are important. And yeah, I'm really grateful that they trained me in a way that allows me to navigate the pageant world that is so much more different than before. I would not have been able to reintegrate into this world if it was not for them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And of course,
So,
polishing my styling and my speaking and everything. So
yeah.
different. And they've been with me the whole time, okay? Not just like in the 6 years between Binibini and now, they've never left my side. They've always been there commenting on my wardrobe, commenting on everything. I really truly feel the love that I have from all of my mentors.
Yes, of
So
course. I
thank you
imagine
so
that
much.
they feel just this pageant and this experience just as intense as if they were competing themselves because they've been with you for so long. Actually, shout out to Mr. Edward Castro. He was the one who sent us the video. But as I said, I'll put it on the video
Thank
montage
you.
that I'll come up with at the end. But yes, he was sending love. He was like, "I'm running out of class just to film this video for for Maria."
Oh,
So
thank you. Nice to meet you.
yes.
Thank you. Edward is actually my stylist and image consultant
Oh,
who
oh.
also picked this very blazer that I'm wearing today.
Ah, well, he
So
did a great
almost my
job because it
entire
looked
wardrobe.
flawless. Flawless. How to be
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. I'm very grateful for the great creatives I've been able to work with because they've been with me since my hosting stint and now they're still with me now.
Yes.
Part of the reason I wanted to join was because, I looked at my career and I was like, I wish I was able to pull out outfits this easy when I joined Binibini Pilipinas.
Mm, yes. Everything has evolved so much in terms of styling and, as you say, like advocacy and a lot. Big, big changes. Um, Let me ask you, so because you have this vision, you have this legacy, you have a team supporting you, of course, anything that you feel comfortable sharing, right? I don't want you to spoil any surprises, but in
Ah,
terms of strategy, how do you plan to approach, especially like a preliminary competition, finals? Do you have a strategy or are you just going with the flow in terms of
or
performance?
not going with the flow. What the flow? To be fair, disclaimer, the flow, if you mean by the flow, like the way I normally do things,
Yes.
then yes. But the way I normally do things is really rigorous. So like,
Yeah.
again, a Virgo. So like, I tend
Perfectionist
to
at
be
work.
very like systematic with things and I prepare ahead of time a lot so I know what side of me I'm highlighting. But I also don't want to take the fun out of it. And that's something that I didn't really focus on in my previous pageant stints. I was so focused on the competition that I forgot about enjoying the moment, being present. I just really want to be present all the time. But at the same time, of course, wherever I can, in every opportunity, I always strive to showcase Cebuana designers, everyone with everyone that represents Cebu and the Philippines that has given pride to our country. For example, in my creative shoot, I can tell you this. We were instructed to, oh, actually, it's not yet posted, but I'll just describe it to you because you'll be able to guess it anyway.
Okay.
We were instructed to feature something uniquely Cebuano, for me particularly. Something that was very Cebu, but not conventional, like not a landmark or anything like that. So I had a very architectural outfit and um, I took the photo in a world-renowned Cebuano designer's inner sanctum. So you'll actually see when you see the photo, you'll know immediately who it is because his works are so recognizable all over the world, not just in the Philippines, but also in the homes of celebrities all over Hollywood. So I think you already know what it is anyway.
Hey, we have very good clues. So you guys, this is gonna be exciting. We're gonna be looking forward to that. Uh,
Yeah, this is not just about me now. It's about Cebu entirely.
of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of your sisters. I see here in the chat. I see Ashley saying hi, Maria. Earlier,
Hi,
I saw Paula as
Ashley.
well. So we're sending love to
Hi,
everyone.
Ashley. Yes, I miss you. Hi, Paula. Paula Madieta Ortega. I love her voice.
She's
I
the
love her.
sweetest.
I love
They're all
right.
amazing,
I
honestly.
also tell her all you need to do is say your name again and again, all the way until coronation. You
Just
got us.
I just have to
I mean,
say, I had so far such an amazing time interviewing Miss Pop Philippines girls. It's been once again a learning experience because I joined these interviews like I do a lot of research for to be prepared, but like I always leave with something new. So you girls are amazing, incredible.
look at Ashley. She's like, give me love. I love you, girl.
We love
I
you.
just saw you an hour ago. Okay.
All right. Maria, please tell us a little bit about your Beauty with a Purpose project. And I'm interested to know like what got you into this project in particular. Where did this interest start?
This interest is this Beauty with a Purpose project is my whole heart. I've always worked as a model and a host in Cebu,
Yeah.
but I've always also I've yearned to do something that gives meaning or that helps my community in any way.
Mm.
And for a time, it made me feel sorry that I was in a job that was not as deep as some would say, but I was bent on finding a way for this to be able to help my country. Like I always say, find what you love and use it to help the world help make the world a better place.
Yeah.
And I thought, how can my two loves? What do I love? I love being on stage. I love performing. I love being a model. I love being a host. How can I use that to make the world a better place? And in 2017, Binibining Cebu gave me a grant to donate to my charity as Binibining Cebu Charity. And
Yes.
instead of choosing an organization, I chose a school. And I partnered with an organization I've been working with for the past 10 years. I've been a volunteer for Gawad Kalinga for the past 10 years. And over the last 5 of those years, I've been working on the People's or On the Go Livelihood Organization. And this organization is actually um, a combination or a collaboration between the Fashion Institute of Design and Arts in Cebu. These are the designers of Cebu, the real life practicing designers whose clothes I wear on print, on ramp, and even on social media. And I've asked them I'm grateful enough that I've built a strong relationship and friendships with them. Among them was Edward Castro, who actually helped me conceptualize the project. And they agreed to help me bring this to Bantayan, to the GK village of Tikad, where I've been helping out with the community. Back in 2017, 2016, I was helping out building homes there and all over Cebu, because Gawad Kalinga is known for giving homes, right? That's one of the basic needs. There's shelter and then there's food. And over the last few years, we've been doing so many projects that I finally decided, you know what, why don't I ask if I can do my own? And we took the community, we bought some sewing machines, edging machines, brought the designers there. They taught basic hair cutting, basic sewing, basic pattern making, lace making, tie dye, anything you could think of. There was a basic livelihood skill that would allow them and empower them to have an enterprise on their own and sort of generate income on their own without having to do or depend on so much machineries or so many people to be involved. Just like directly, like, hey, I'll do your haircut. Maybe like I don't know how many pesos, or I'll do your haircut, you do mine. Just to
Yeah.
make them a more independent entity, all on their own. Because this village is lovely. It's a small, like, township, I guess, on its own. But the whole point of it was to do the experiment in a small community so that we know how to replicate it in many, many different locations in the Philippines. At right now, it's at a stage where the women and the children of the village actually now includes men. So I can't say it's just a women empowerment thing. We have a male seamstress, Taylor. Is that how you call it? And he helps us make disposable diapers, disposable napkins. Sorry, reusable diapers, reusable napkins, reusable sacks, reusable, like we make aprons out of repurposed flour sacks or burlap that have come from the restaurants or the establishments in Bantayan. And so we take what is trash and we turn it into treasure, but stretch it even more further in a more sustainable direction by creating out of it household items that you can use in doing your grocery shopping. And what we do further with the youth to entice them to live in more sustainable ways is we give incentives to the youth who are able to convince businesses to switch to becoming somewhat sort of a refilling station on the island. And it's created somewhat of a culture of sustainability. And I cannot take full credit for that because part of that was the women of that village. All I did was plant the seed. And that's the whole essence of it. To be able to empower other people and to gift them with the courage of with a gift of creation. And that's the most powerful thing really, to give them a way to make their ideas into reality. And it opens up this conversation about sustainability so much more. Because when you talk about sustainability, it's so intellectualized. Like
Yeah.
we often think we need to explain it so much to get people on board. But it's the people on the island, the people on the ground who fish, who live off the land, who are so well versed in the consequences that our environment throws back at us when we don't take care of it. So it's them who understand sustainability the most. And it's great that this movement is starting with them. And I hope with Miss World Philippines, we can expand that project through the whole country, maybe even the world. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say I could listen to you talk for hours. Like, girl, you speak with so much passion, with so much
Thank you.
conviction. I love that.
Thank you so much. Oh, don't
Yes.
say that.
And I just want to emphasize, for the people watching us, because a lot of people, they tend to say, sometimes like an advocacy for a pageant is just something that the girls do during the pageant, but take away as well, like the message and what the communities get out of this. I think that in your particular scenario, you're not only encouraging, of course, sustainability, but you're also giving to the youth skills that they will be able to use for the rest of their lives. So you're giving them ways to
Right.
become independent, to perhaps turn that into a business, which will help automatically the local economy, which will help the national economy eventually. And it's just about empowering them, right? I think it's hard for
Right.
one single person to change the world or turn everything around. But by making small changes, by addressing issues on a scale that is realistic to you, you're also impacting their lives at the same time and giving them tools that they will be able to use that forever in the upcoming.
Right. Start where you are. That
Yeah.
was where we were 5 years ago. And I was honestly so scared that the project wouldn't start because I've tried to start some of them before over the first 5 years that I was a volunteer, and it didn't really happen. And now that I had funding, I was so amazed that this was the first project that they actually really liked, because I was like, You didn't like the others, but like now you guys are so excited. They came up with it. Like during the pandemic, they sent me like they were like, "Hey, what do you think of making like a reusable diapers?" And I was like, "Wow, like really?" So I was like, "Okay, I'll go
Ambitious.
with it because it came from them. Look at them,
Yes.
being sustainable girls." I was so proud.
For sure, for sure. You
I was
should be
so
proud.
proud.
It's an amazing project. I just want to say, like, I'm just looking at the comments here at the live stream. I'm just cracking. I think I'm giving Ashley the title of Miss Charot for this.
Hi, Miss Sharon. Hello, Ashley
Hello, Miss
Sabihano.
Charot. We love you,
Now we've
Ashley.
been inseparable. Oh, hey, Surchin. Hi, Surchin. My friend from Bhutan.
Oh,
But
oh,
Ashley is actually, what do you call this? She's been with me since the very first second we became candidates. We
oh,
were holding hands at the screening because I rode with her to the screening and then we sat next to each other the whole day and we got to know each other at the screening. And
oh,
then we got announced like literally one after the other,
yes.
which was nerve wracking because I was last and she was third to the last.
I can imagine all the nerves I'm going through, but we love to see sisterhood and girls supporting one another, and
Yeah.
especially in a fun, light way. I mean, competitions are already stressful enough, so we love the support. So let me ask you, it's Maria, very important for the people watching us. So right now we're live on Instagram, but as I said, I will repost this on YouTube as well. So those who will be watching your intervention, how can they support if they wanted to get involved in your project, or if they wanted to maybe spread awareness, bring more visibility? How can we do our part?
Well, the first would be to start by following my Instagram because currently the project exists only as my Instagram. Soon I'll be making an Instagram for Polo itself. It's
Yeah.
the People's On the Go Livelihood Organization, and it's abbreviated as Polo because in the long run, the vision for the project was going to be to upcycle these recyclable fabrics and turn them into clothing, something like a substitute for denim
Yeah.
or blazers or something like that. Because I love blazers. But if you want to follow the project, definitely go on my Instagram. And if you want to do more than just follow, then you can DM me and see what you can do because we're always looking for donations so that we can further do research and development on the other projects that we can expand to doing. The project I'm currently working on now is we want to produce high quality tote bags that you can use when you go to the grocery store and I want them to be like different, not just like the ordinary ones.
Yes.
And we're going to routinely take the designers back to the village and teach them the patterns for whatever the village wants to make. But obviously, this is always a collaborative effort. So it takes a lot of research, it takes a lot of back and forth. And the island of Batayan is quite far from Manila and from Cebu City. So it's like, just to paint a picture, it's like a plane ride, an hour plane ride from Manila to Cebu. And then from Cebu, it's 30 minutes by plane, but 4 hours by land, and then 1 hour by boat. And then you have another 30-minute ride before you actually reach the village. So it's quite a long way. And the funds that any of you are willing to donate, maybe I should make a GoFundMe. Anything
Absolutely.
that you
Go
guys
for
are willing to donate
it.
will be used to further that cause. And
Yes.
hopefully in not too long a time from now, maybe after the pageant, we'll be seeing those products, in full form, and they can fully fuel a social enterprise of their own.
Yes, absolutely. When you come up with the tote bags, please let me know. I'm gonna get 10. I love me a good tote bag.
You are gonna get some. Oh, you're so gonna get some.
I'm gonna get
So
some of
gonna.
that. You'll be seeing me like on my Instagram with my outfit of the day. Just
Oh, it's gonna happen. If
yes.
I wasn't here in Miss World, like they're literally all in my mood boards. If I wasn't here in Miss World, I would have been there, like in February, teaching those things. But it'll happen, and then we will be back with it. And I can't wait to send you one.
Oh, you're the sweetest. Now let me
Thank
ask you, I
you.
feel like this is a very obvious answer, but of course I want it to be clear for everyone watching us.
Okay.
What is the title that you're going for with this competition? Because there are different crowns. Each one of them is very
Right.
different, very particular, but which one is it that you're going for? Your ultimate goal?
I want the Miss World crown. I feel like that is where my skills will be best used. I feel like as the next Miss World Philippines, my communication skills would do very well on an international stage. But of course, if I end up with any other crown, I'll be more than happy because all of the crowns of this world, Philippines, are advocates for beauties with a purpose. And so any platform will serve to further my advocacy. But of course, if you're going to aim for something, you have to aim for the biggest prize, right? And I would just love to have a sister moment on stage because when I was Beating Cebu Charity, Tracy was my successor. And I would love for us to return to that crowning moment. But, this time maybe it'll be mine. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh, for sure. You got what it takes, so we believe in you, girl. You got this. Just give it your
Thank
best.
you.
Let me ask you, because
Thank you so much.
I feel like the Miss World crown is still a little bit of a mysterious crown for a lot of people because the pageant, it's quite complex sometimes. Lots of different activities. So, in your opinion, your own take on it, what do you think is the essence of a girl who deserves a Miss World title?
Um, the most relevant, most innovative, most risk-taking girl, I believe, is the one who deserves the Miss World title because Miss World is all about the welfare and the rights of everyone all over the world. It furthers so many humanitarian causes. And she is always going to be the one who remembers that before she's a beauty queen, she's a person first. A
Yeah.
person who cares and loves and genuinely wants the better for everyone. I mean, Tracy is a perfect definition of a Miss World.
Mhm.
And regardless of how her international competition goes, having known her personally and as a queen, my goodness, like she has such a heart of gold, such a heart of gold, and she's the most genuine person, one of the most genuine people that I've ever met,
Yeah,
and I would love to follow in her footsteps.
of course.
Yeah. So going back to what do you think a next Miss World is? That someone who's innovative, open-minded, accepting, someone who is willing to take risks and open up conversations about inclusivity and yeah, a very well-rounded person. As you can see, we have all of these challenges, right? And they're meant to give us our next Miss World.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, really challenges who you are as a person.
And why should you be that girl? Why should you be the next Miss World Philippines, if I may ask you?
Because I'm not afraid of a challenge. Because I do take risks. I am a risk taker. In fact, when I'm asked why I'm an exceptionally empowered Filipina, I always say it's because I'm a risk taker. I'm not afraid to open up conversations that need to be had. And I hope with my performance in the head to head challenge, that has become even more clear. I think that's what we need in a country like the Philippines, with beauty queens holding just as much clout and following and influence as our politicians. Then I hope that we can create a safer space, a space that's more open for dialogue. Because in many instances, politics and all of these things can be very intimidating. And beauty queens provide a more casual space, a more comfortable space. We see them as our mother figures or our ates, and we need that. That's what a next Miss World is all about. She's about the exceptionally empowered Filipina who empowers other Filipina through everything that she does
Oh,
and understands that it's something about something that's bigger than herself. Yeah.
you're so amazing. Oh my God.
Thank you.
That was a mic drop, girl. Ah.
Thank you so much. I
And
mean it.
yes, of course. And it shows that you mean it, honestly. Um,
Thank you.
Officially, that was my very last question for the interview. But of course, before we end all of this, I just wanted to say, it's for me personally, it's been such a pleasure to have you here on the channel. As I said, like me and Salvatore have been planning this for a while. We really wanted to have you and make it special for you as well. And I just hope that everyone watching us all throughout this very unusual interview, with all of the technical issues that we have and all, just remember like your resilience, girl. You really pushed through it, and you're a shine for that. And we just love you. We support you all the way.
Thank you. It's an honor. I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan.
We love you. And please, everyone, if you're watching this, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, or any other platform, go follow Maria, support her on her journey. All of the competitions are coming out. Soon is the prelims, and then we have the final. So please go and show some love and support. It's the most important thing. And Yes. Thank you so much once again. And is there any final message that you would like to say to the audience and to everyone who stayed with us until the end?
Of course. Now, besides the serious stuff, which is obviously, I hope you guys can catch us tomorrow. We're having our Santa Cruzan tomorrow at the Venice Plaza. So if you guys are here in Manila, then I would love, love, love to see you. You know, we live once and it's already the post-pandemic times. So as long as we keep a safe, socially distant event, then I think we're all good. But I can't wait for you guys to see my national costume. My designer is Axel Kwe, and I know that, yeah, he's the designer for my sisters as well. And shout out to Axel, who's been such a good sport and has given me like a costume that I will remember forever. That's uniquely me and opens up conversations about representation, especially in the Philippines. Because
Yes.
Santa Cruz is a very religious event.
Yeah.
But we all know that the Philippines has more than one religion in it. So I'm excited to show you what it's all about.
I'm
I'm all
intrigued.
about diversity, honey, and opening up meaningful conversations. As well as our gala on June 1 at Okada, Manila. Please come to our charity gala where we will be competing in the top model competition and we'll also be announcing our Miss Charity Gala, who goes to the candidate that has sold the most tables or tickets for that event. Of course, don't forget our coronation night on June 5, the big night that I can't wait for, that's so fast approaching. But of course, the most important thing of all is you guys do you. You know, my friends always say, find what you love and let it kill you.
Yes.
And this, being a creative, well, I mean, like live and die devoted to something, you know, like being a creative has saved me from so many things in my life. And I'm only so happy that now with Miss World Philippines, I can fully make that come like all the way around, make it come full circle and allow it to help other people as well. Trust that in finding what you love, you're going to eventually help the world become a better place. And
Oh,
thank you, Louise, for having me.
of course. It's an absolute pleasure. Um, I mean, what can I say? I'm speechless. I'm gonna cry, shut up.
Oh, don't cry. I
No,
wish it
but
was
you're awesome.
longer, Chad.
You're awesome. I really appreciate your time. It's already past 11 p.m. in the Philippines, so I don't want to make it overly long because you need to go and get some rest. Girl, please get all the
Yeah.
rest that you need. But thank you for being such a good sport, for staying till the end, for being such a generous guest with me and the audience. And of course, we're wishing
Thank you
you.
for being such an accommodating host. You're such a good sport.
Oh, you deserve it.
We've been trying to make this interview happen, and it's only happened now. So thank you so much, Louise. It's been such an honor.
Of course, absolutely. Well, thank you as well, everyone. As always, please take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon with more content. Sending kisses and hugs. Mwah. All right. Bye, everyone.